we were talking yesterday about how JD Vance is sort of uniquely unlikable in many ways. This is when he made that joke about drinking Mountain Dew that nobody could quite figure out why it was a joke, and he was chuckling at it. And you guys are lots of fun. And you've got Tim Walls out there. Maybe we'll play this in a bit, saying, what's wrong with these people? Like where they're prying into why they've had babies or didn't have babies, or how manly men should be. And JD Vance has got some weird revanchist and retrograde ideas. And we sit here in our smug little studio and pass judgment because we're not real Americans. Of course, we don't. We live in New York and Brooklyn, and but it turns out that our perspective on JD Vance was rather on the nose. Here is CNN talking about how well JD Vance, or how much I should say, is helping Donald Trump's ticket.
It's a negative net territory. Look at that, negative 6 points. I will tell you, Aaron, I have gone all the way back since 1980. He is the first guy after immediately following a convention, a VP pick, who actually had a net negative favorable rating. That is underwater. The average since 2000 is plus 19 points. JD Vance making history in the completely wrong way.
I mean, it's amazing. Plus 19. And I know people talk VPs don't usually matter, but they're usually
they're
not
pretty
a negative.
popular. Usually they're popular. In this case, he's dragging Trump down.
All right. And then there's also Ohio, which I, have been around long enough to have been there on an election night. And the reason I was there, because the person who wins Ohio wins the White House.
Right.
Ohio's a red state now.
Yeah.
So what does the JD Vance pick do for Trump? Obviously, he is senator from Ohio.
There's this whole idea, JD Vance is, going to help out in Ohio, perhaps help out in those Rust Belt, those Great Lake battleground states. But if you look at Ohio, JD Vance won in 2022, but he only won by 6 points. That's worse than Donald Trump did in 2020. It's far worse than Mike DeWine did in 2022. He was the worst performing Republican candidate in 2022, up and down the ballot in the state of Ohio. He had nothing there.
All right, so Trump does very well with white working class voters.
That is fantastic. And I mean, it's what is frustrating to me about these conversations that they have is like, well, then why did they pick him? They picked him because of Peter Thiel's money. They picked him because of Elon Musk's money, which apparently he pulled out.
Yeah.
Again, but he did it for the money.
Well, there's
it's
a thing.
The money.
They don't talk about that on the news, right? And I actually saw a segment on CNN where Vance was the topic of conversation, and a commentator brought up the Thiel money, and I saw them move so quickly away from it. It's like they don't want to go there because because it's a corporate media enterprise, and that might affect their bottom line. But that's why he picked this charisma suck. It wasn't because he had brought something to the ticket. All he did was bring money. And the problem is that Trump is burning so much of what they fundraise on lawyers' fees. So he's taking as much cash as he can and giving promises to Miriam Adelson. Hey, I'll annex the West Bank for you if I get elected, right? So that's so central to his candidacy that not talking about the money piece of it because he's he needs it for his legal fees. It just feels like a really dishonest way to cover the race.
It's either dishonest or just incredibly stupid. But I love the idea of how much Trump must be fuming now that JD Vance is a net negative for him. I mean,
look, he knows what's good on
TV. He has a beard.
On TV, yeah.
I knew it.
I got past the beard.
I should have trusted my beard instinct.
I should have my beard instincts. God.
And apparently, Don Jr. was the one who was really pushing for him too. And there was some funny tweet the other day saying that Trump's going to beat Don Jr. with a shoe when he sees these numbers.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.